the era of nostalgia. Dare I say the zeitgeist of our times. The next step in the evolution of the idea, the mutated aspect of the world. X-Men 97. Welcome to the Triple Take Podcast. My name is Frank.
I'm Manny.
I am Joseph.
And I just want to start off by saying heavy, and I'm talking about heavy duty, spoiler warnings.
Heavy duty.
Muy heavy duty.
Nothing but spoilers.
Nothing-
Grande caca.
Okay.
There's not much heavier than that, I'll tell you that. But okay. Anyway, so what do we what do we think? What do we think? Yo, I don't know what to think. The levels of the mic can't handle this.
It was so good, I almost cried. It was a good show.
Well, that's Joseph's thoughts.
I didn't know how to say grande.
You said it.
I was trying to say heavy.
Could have said Starbucks, grande like Starbucks, grande like large. You said grande like caca. That's crazy.
Grande caca.
So after a whole minute and 30 seconds of talking about grande caca. No. We're going to keep this in. This is staying in.
No.
We're staying in.
Blooper reel.
We're staying in. We're going crazy.
No.
I can edit it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Dude, I'm in tears. Look at his forehead.
Talk about the biggest fumble. Grande caca. Well, you see his veins?
Yeah.
He's gonna change colors. Oh boy. Anyway.
Peace in our time. That's what it was. That
Peace?
was Ultron. They got it.
How did you get peace from our times from Grande Caca? How do you get Grande Caca from that?
Restart. I
No,
need to restart.
we're
I
not.
can't-
No,
I don't
we're
have
not
a
doing
brain
it.
cell right now.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're keeping it. Your brain's full of Grande Caca.
I won't say that again. Just to restart.
No, it's fine. We're gonna keep it going. All right. Let's come together.
You
All
gotta
right.
cut out like 2 minutes.
It's fine.
Well, now you gotta cut it out. He said the F word.
It's fine. So thoughts. let's talk about our thoughts on the X-Men 97 show. Obviously excluding the old parts. Like we're just talking about the newer remade, continuated version that we saw recently.
In 97.
Yeah, X-Men 97. It wasn't called that before. It was X-Men and something else, right?
Well, the original was just X-Men.
It was just X-Men. Okay, so yeah, X-Men 97. Okay. So in terms of me, I don't know much about the X-Men in general, but I thought it was a great show. Like, great animation. Well, honestly, way better animation than I was expecting. If I'm being honest, the storyline was great. The plot points were great. And with Marvel recently, like in terms of storylines and shows, haven't been that great in my opinion. So seeing this new perspective and aspect of like the Marvel verse was definitely refreshing.
I agree, because people would associate the MCU as just being a bunch of like live action projects and like shows and movies.
Yeah.
And at least for us growing up, and I imagine a lot of older people who just had the comics before the shows came out, it brings that extra layer of like nostalgia, like, hey, this is what I grew up with. And it's literally like evolved from what it used to be, because when I first heard about the show, I was like, cool, I'll watch it. When I actually like sat down with you guys to actually watch it,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was going to follow like an actual continuation of the original and actually have the same animation for it. Like the same style that they continue.
Yeah, like it was just like a more modernized version of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
When it comes to the show, I'm gonna say that this show is the perfect continuation to where it left off in X-Men 9, the original series. Basically, when you watch that series, the end of it is Professor X supposedly dies, and the X-Men are left without a leader, and that's where it ends. Is they're continuing on in his legacy, and this is it picks up literally exactly where that show left off, and it just takes it and runs with it. And that's what's so special about this show is that it pays homage to its original so much that it's just one entire bundle all together, and it's perfectly wrapped up in that bow. And to me, this show is, if not one of the best animated shows I've watched in a very long time.
I think I can agree with that. So we're talking about the show, like, and like everything, we gave like a big synopsis on what we thought about the show. But do you guys have like any favorite moments or favorite characters? Let's start with favorite moment.
So my favorite moment would be when, I think it's episode 2, or 3.
I don't remember.
2 or 3. They take Magneto to court, and because
to court.
and Magneto's being tried because of all those wrongdoings that he did in the original show, and
yeah,
he's trying to turn over a new leaf and continue on Charles Xavier's legacy, and he's trying to prove to everybody that he is, not that same dude he was before, that he's just trying to do this because it's his friend's will, and he always has that love for Professor X. So when he goes in there, he's accompanied by Storm, and stuff goes down. Storm gets hurt by humans, of course, and Magneto goes and grabs everybody on the Supreme Court and takes them into the sky.
But we're not talking about just the sky, though. We're talking about you saw space, dog.
Yeah.
Took them to the stratosphere.
He puts them in their own magnetic field and goes into the stratosphere. And you get that sense of like, oh crap, they messed up.
Like, it's over. Magneto's done with this.
It's over. Like, he's gonna finish this. He's gonna make an example out of these people for what they did to Storm. And he ends up just like basically talking to them as if he was literally talking through Charles, but still having that Magneto feel to him. And he doesn't end up doing anything to them. And I think that right there was the most impactful thing, because throughout the entire series, I thought he was joking. I thought he was playing everybody.
Oh, he was finessing.
He was finessing the whole time. And
Same.
then
I can't lie.
right there, I was just like, maybe he has changed. Maybe he is doing this for all the right reasons.
Well, at least trying.
So
at least trying.
I thought right there is a very pivotal moment in that character's development towards where this show goes with him. So it's to me, that's my favorite moment.
To have a man who will like fight and die for his ideals to make the compromise.
Yeah.
To try it the other way.
Exactly. That's what we call a good man. An understanding man.
Good writing. Good character development.
That's definitely true. But in terms of me, my favorite moment, I'm just gonna give you the obvious one, because like I'm not gonna lie, like I just like Gambit as a character as well. But that moment when they were in Genosha, you're right. That's how you say it.
Genosha.
I always say Genosha, but I know it's wrong. But Genosha, and they got attacked by that crazy Sentinel. What's
Master Mold?
Master Mold, the mold of the masters. Everybody was getting messed up by the Master Mold, and this man goes, well, guess I gotta gamble my life away. And he gets stabbed by the Sentinel while he was trying to fight it. And then while the Sentinel is stabbing him, he like uses his powers to like take his energy into the Sentinel. And like everybody's getting messed up by the Sentinel. We talking about Ro, we talking about Magneto, everybody's getting clapped. And then this man just goes, you know what? I'm already about to die anyways, because you literally like pierced like my most vital organs in my body. So I'm just gonna put all my energy into you and just blow you up. And obviously he died. And while he was getting stabbed and while he blew him up, he says one of the best lines ever. He says, "My name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it." Boom. Kablooey. That boy was gone. Excuse my French.
Kaboom.
Excuse my French. But no, that part was really dope, and I think it was it really helped out with the character development, which I'll get into after we talk about our favorite characters, which, as you can tell, is probably Gambit.
At least in that episode, my favorite moment, not in the whole show, but building
From
off
that,
of your point,
yeah,
was when Magneto Like he has a shield and he ends up getting shot into the Charles Xavier statue, and then it falls on a bunch of mutants, like just witnessing what's going on.
Yeah.
And
Just question him.
like while Magneto's going through his emotions and he's remembering, or like he's just like, this is what I've been fighting for, and now they're attacking
Like,
like
just
their
processing
home.
everything. Yeah.
But before he like loses it, like you'll see like what there's 3 shots that they showed, and the third shot is Magneto remembering his time in a concentration camp during World War II with the Nazis and the whole Holocaust. I just like how he remembers that, and he's comparing what's going on to his experience as a child, and he's like, this is what I went through, this should never happen again, and it's happening, and he wants to go like all out to fight this thing.
One of the big like factors in this show is how Magneto is, you know, trying to be what Professor X wants him to be, and every single time he tries, it's always like a boom, this happens, and it's always like more reassuring to him that his way is the right way, which is crazy to me that like when you bring up like the statue and everything about like it falling on mutants, it's like that almost like the symbolism of Charles's way is not working, it's killing our people, so I have to do it my way. And
it takes him a long time to get there, right? Like, he really, really tried to like not go back into the old Magneto mode, like, but he was very tolerant of like trying it the way Xavier wanted, and man, it got to the point where like it really like affected like the other characters, and it made it seem like, dang, like Magneto might be right. And I think that, especially that one of those moments, I think that's probably one of my second favorite moments, where like they talk about how like, oh well, Magneto might be right. Like when they're like everybody's like realizing that, you see people start betraying and like going to his side after like he goes back to Magneto mode. That really shows that like this area is more gray than black and white.
Oh, and I love that. From that episode, my favorite line that Magneto said,
Yeah.
it was along the lines of, we're not going to leave this wondering if we could have saved more. And he was like, no, we're going to get everyone we can.
Yeah. He wasn't worried about like what was like who did this, whatever. He was just worried about saving people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which makes sense. Oh,
But
yeah. What's your favorite moment?
My favorite moment in the show was towards, well, I guess the last episode, where you have all the Prime Sentinels all over the world. And Bastion goes in full on like, oh, we're going to extinct all like humanity and mutants. And you get that sense of like weight of the situation, because then you have characters in all the cameos that they showed that weren't involved in this whole like X-Men versus or mutant versus Sentinel conflict.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, what the heck is going on? And everyone more or less is teaming up. You'll have Daredevil.
Yeah.
And that one shot getting a little messed up by some Prime Sentinels, but then Cloak and Dagger show up.
Yep.
So you have other heroes supporting each other if they were never affiliated with one another. And you get different levels where Prime Sentinels are attacking the president. And, like, you know, the highest level of the U.S. And then you have Iron Man and Captain America trying to defend it. Then it goes
because
back.
they're with the government. Yeah.
And then you see different sections of the world with, what was it called? Team Red or whatever, with Omega Red, and they're trying to deal with them.
Omega Red, yeah.
Or it's just like, no one's safe. Everyone in this world is having to deal with this situation, and you know the show's about the X-Men, and it's just like, well, that created that layer of death, like, yo, this is a serious threat. This is not something that just like the X-Men or mutants are dealing with. It's the whole world. The whole little animated universe that they had created before is now like being threatened with all the other shows that they used to make. Where like now, just growing up watching it, it's just like it's tying in like all the stories and character arcs from the other older animated shows. It's like you could kind of look at it like, oh, like they're still there, and they're totally being threatened by this. And this is something that, like, you know, one of those giant crossover stories that you'll have everyone teaming up as the Avengers trying to deal with something, and that, like, you would look at Bastion in that moment as an Avenger level threat, or everyone's like, no, we're gonna gang up and try to fight this the best we can.
Yeah, they try to at least like hint onto the more broader perspective.
Correct.
Yeah.
my biggest like
I like that about it too.
my biggest moment is when they show Wakanda. When they show Wakanda and that Black Panther's dealing
Oh, in
with
terms of
it.
cameos?
Yeah, when they show Black Panther's dealing with it, and then they show that little like hey.
When he gets ready for
something-
battle right
so-
there,
yeah,
that was tough.
when he says like,
That was
hey,
tough.
something's like this is a big problem when he's talking to like Cap and Iron Man. When
Oh, on the screen?
yeah, when he's
Yeah, yeah.
talking to them and he says like, hey, this is like a very big problem. This ain't like how you said. This ain't an X-Men threat. This is a world threat.
Yeah, easy.
And this is a problem that needs to be fixed.
It's like layered, because like I mean, if you look at real life, and not necessarily trying to be woke, but you have different issues. But if those certain issues become
Large
much
enough?
more prevalent and severe, it'll start branching into the other issues where it like kind of destabilizes the balance per se.
I mean, we're living in it now, right? Like, I'm not going to say like specifics, but like there's things that happen in other countries that affect other people, like in other countries. That's just how like the world works, and I think they did a good job of actually like getting that type of feel, like real world feel in the show, and I really liked it to show like the impact of it. In terms of favorite characters, I would like to start and say like Gambit, obviously, like from the moment, because like the main thing was the things that led up to that moment, and it was like, you know, he had this thing with Rogue, and then Rogue had this thing with your boy Granny Goodness, Mr. Magneto, and she basically chose Magneto over him, and he
No, she didn't.
no in the beginning. In the beginning, obviously not at the end of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
from
But,
Gambit's
like,
point of view, that's all he knew.
from Gambit's point of view, like she was like, I can't be with you, bro. I gotta be with Mr. Magnetizing love over here, you know, because like it's the only person I could touch. Shake my head. Don't know real love. Anyway, my boy Gambit said, you know what, like if that's what you want, that's what you want. Like, and he took it like a man. You feel me? Like his heart was broken, and he did not take a single stay. He didn't complain. He just said, bet. You know, and even after that, he was still able to. After all that happened to him, he was still able to fight and sacrifice himself to save everybody. And I just think that was just good character development, because, you know, Gambit's built like this guy, like, oh, I take a risk. I don't really care too much, but he's actually like a guy that felt a lot, and he was hurt by this, and he was still able to do what he got to do because he knew it was for the better of everybody else.
Sacrificed his bike to save the girl that left him.
Exactly.
Well,
Couldn't have said it better myself.
my favorite is gonna be, obviously as previously mentioned, it's Magneto. Just this whole, I'll be honest with you,
Best character
the
development.
main character of this show, in my opinion, is Magneto.
I agree.
That this whole thing starts and ends with him, because he, like, that character development from the start to the finish is just perfect to me. That, you know, you push the guy, he tries to do better, and you push the guy, and you push the guy, and you push the guy hard enough to the point where he just says, you know what, it's not working, time for y'all to go.
I'm done with y'all. R.I.P. your electronics. How about you, Joseph?
So my favorite character, even though I like the bad guys, tend to be my type of person.
Oh, you switching it up?
No.
Oh.
I'm still going with Bastion.
Oh.
Bastion being my favorite character. But
I
not
thought you were gonna switch it
necessarily-
up the way you were saying it.
Bastion was my favorite character, and their portrayal of him, because opposed to like the comics and him just being a mix that went through a magical mirror or portal or whatever.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a story. I like how they changed up his origins from the source material, and in that last moment where he's having that whole morality or like philosophical battle between the X-Men, trying to be like, hey, like, we understand like your point of view, and his argument against Storm being like, I didn't choose to be born this way.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just like nothing matters to him anymore. Like he just like it doesn't matter.
man, like he's starting to go off that deep end.
Yeah.
But then you get that internal battle with him, where if he's that Sentinel human hybrid,
Yeah.
where he has his own feelings as a human because he was raised as one,
Obviously.
but then that programming took over.
Mm.
So him as a character, he would have that like two halves going at it with each other.
It's just like he got his emotions, but like his logical side is like kind of like, you don't need this. Like this is just what it is right here, and he just
Exactly. And then going off of Magneto's, like how he views like humans, like humans ain't with us at all.
Yeah.
And that last fight where, you know, they're trying to appeal to him, and he's just like, you know, looking
Appeal
out the
Sebastian.
window basically, and you see all the missiles coming up to the asteroid, and he's just like, there's a pickle. They don't want kids like us.
There's a pickle.
It's a pickle.
I thought you were calling the missiles pickles.
No. He's like, there's a pickle, dude. Or Gene says
There's a pickle
more
coming at us.
humans, like more babies like us, are being born,
Oh yeah.
and then people don't want that. There's like, why are we gonna have a mutant? You know, like that's a bad thing in terms of how society works.
Yeah, the way it currently was. Yeah, viewed mutants is a bad thing.
And he's just, you know, there's a pickle, and they tried to blow up Asteroid M, which inadvertently would have just destroyed the world.
Yeah, basically. I don't know how they didn't think about that.
It's the U.S. They don't think it through.
Yeah, and Captain America's like, that's probably not a
next
good
one,
idea.
sorry.
Captain America, that's probably not a good idea. You know,
That and Bastion had the best one-liners for me.
I can
Say
agree
it.
with that too.
Say it. Say it.
What are you gonna do, child? Slay me like the 4th of July?
I don't replay
The
that.
best
That was
line in
hilarious.
the whole show.
That was hilarious.
The best line in the whole
I,
show.
I ain't gonna lie.
Storm trying to talk to him, and he just being like, "Are you trying to appeal to my humanity? That ain't gonna work."
Like, this man was just roasting Eric. Like after he got that form, he just said, "You know what? My new superpower is roastifying,
What do you say? He's just like, "Oh,
roasting
Like-
muties."
their hopes and dreams are crippled, just like the person who dreamt it." Talking about Xavier.
Bro, that was insane. I was like, I couldn't believe those one-liners caught me so off guard. Like I wasn't even paying attention to the rest of the show. I was just like, what's he gonna say next?
And him just calling Cyclops a deadbeat, a blind. Did he say blind? I don't know.
Yeah, blind
A
deadbeat.
blind
dad.
deadbeat dad. I was like,
Yeah.
bro. The
Man,
4th of July is not the best one.
No, July to me is the best one.
But he did some wild ones, bro. You could take your pick. They were all pretty
1v1ing anyone, he's gonna roast you some way, shape, or form.
But after like we're talking about like the characters and their moments and like the way the story was and how we felt about it. How do we think the story is gonna go? Like which storyline are they following? Because I don't know much about like the comics and stuff like that. Like you guys do, like Manny and Joseph do. But what storyline do you think this is gonna follow?
So the way this ends basically is a huge fight breaks out. Everybody gets teleported out of nowhere, out of thin air.
When the
certain
asteroid
X-Men,
explodes.
certain X-Men end up in the past. Certain X-Men end up in the future,
And some we don't even know.
and some we do not know where they went.
Yep.
And one of the biggest things is you see Apocalypse. Apocalypse stands in present day and picks up.
You see him twice.
You see him twice because you see him in the past when they finally see the first mutant. Apocalypse is the first mutant.
Busted.
You see him pick up a card, and it's Gambit's card, and he basically says that, you know, it's tragic to see such like good talent go to waste, basically, in a sense of like saying like it's sad that mutants die here, and so he picks up that card, and it's the sign that the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are coming. You see Bishop talking to Forge, him saying that we need new X-Men. We need another X-Men to continue the legacy because we don't know where these people went and we don't know what's going to happen. So where I see the story going is Apocalypse is your big bad now. Bastion is off somewhere. He will return, but Apocalypse is your bad. He's the one that's going to start the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, with Gambit being the horseman of death. The other 3 horsemen, I wonder who they're going to be. I know who they are. I won't say who they're going to be. And there's a bunch of different ways that this can go. I see also them taking a different route and a different way of doing the Avengers versus X-Men storyline. I believe that the government is going to tell the Avengers that the X-Men are a threat because of all this stuff that happened in the show. And the Avengers are going to have no choice but to tell the X-Men, hey, this is what it is. I'm sorry. We have to take you in. You're the bad guys now. And I feel like that could be another alternate storyline that could be happening at the same time Apocalypse is happening. So that's where I think this is headed.
Like season 1 of 97, I like how they sort of take tidbits of different storylines and sort of meld them together in their own thing. Like how Storm had her moment, Magneto's going through his thing, they brought in Bastion as the antagonist with the Operation Zero Tolerance storyline. But then they added, like, they tweaked the story a little bit so it just all fit better. Like, the people writing the show, they're doing their research, they're understanding the source material, and they're bringing it in a way that it, one, comes together into more or less their own thing, and three, how it's more in, like, a believable sense. Again, going off of Bastion just being born out of a magic mirror. A little stupid to me, but having how they made his origins in this show flowed a lot better for me.
Mm-hmm.
And off of your point,
More personable.
about Bastion possibly coming back, just rewatching that episode where the explosion happens.
Mm-hmm.
But like usually when you see like explosion effects and like animated stuff, like you'll see the person wipe away.
Or like kind of like deteriorate, kind of like
Yeah, like
Gohan with Cell.
exactly.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're saying.
Bastion didn't do that. The explosion's happening, and he just disappears.
I mean, yeah, because that's what happened to everybody, right? Because like we can assume that he got sent somewhere too.
Well, no, but like when the gravity core exploded,
Yeah.
and that like he like popped. You know what I mean? Like they still saved them. Like the whole asteroid didn't blow up.
Didn't it?
Like it was falling to Earth. Remember?
Yeah. Didn't it? Didn't it blow
And then
blow up?
Bastion went straight towards the explosion. Because they blew up the core with the missiles.
Yeah, but didn't the whole thing disappear? Didn't the whole thing disappear?
Well, yeah, it disappeared, but I'm talking about before it disappeared, and they're trying to save the asteroid. Bastion throws himself in the explosion, as they're showing him just throwing himself.
Oh, those
Instead
are
of
two separate instances?
Yeah.
I'm misremembering? Oh, okay.
Where he throws himself in the explosion, and instead of just like fading away with the explosion, one frame he's there, and the next frame he's just gone.
Yeah, okay. But you could probably assume that he got transported, though.
I don't know. I just like it's crazy. I want him back.
Maybe he's the one that transported everybody.
Yeah, maybe.
So, I wanted to touch on this real quick. I know you guys probably don't know about this, but one thing I fear with this show,
You fear?
is Disney putting its hands on this show. Hear me out. They fired one of the original creators of this show.
Yeah, the main showrunner.
His name's Bew DeMaio, something like that. DeMayonnaise.
Wow, why were we thinking the same thing?
So
Mayo.
they fired him,
Sorry.
and he's clarified that he has involvement in season 2, which is a good thing because
How do you have involvement after you get fired?
apparently season 1 was being done and season 2 they were doing them both periodically, one after the other.
Like, how can you get this story to connect it to the next one, basically?
So he has involvement in it in terms of the writing. I don't know how much production he has in it, but my fear is that Disney putting their hands on this could mess this up because they want it to be their property, their way, and taking away the originals might leave this show with a little bit lacking.
Like a
So,
bad taste.
in my understanding, he was fired or whatever due to some work-related issues, not necessarily Disney taking over. Because the way that X-Men '97 came out, and yesterday there were posts saying that on Rotten Tomatoes it literally had a full-on 100%.
Bro, because it is. It only has one episode that I didn't really like that much. And it wasn't
And-
even that bad.
And if Disney had their hand in it, I don't think the show would be as brutal. Because there are some moments in the show that's pretty brutal. Like
Yeah. I think they're,
Wolverine going through his thing.
I think they're starting to be more open to dip their toes in something like that, though.
Yeah. And then, they're going to have a rated R movie.
Exactly.
In the
That's
MCU.
why I'm saying, yeah.
We're gonna
Added Daredevil to the platform.
We had our first TVMA
True.
show.
True.
It was Daredevil, right?
Echo.
Oh, Echo, sorry. Oh, yeah, because that's their original. Yeah.
What else? And then Kevin Feige, head of Marvel. He
The live action one, right?
Yeah, of the MCU. That business-wise, they're not just going, or structurally what they're putting out, they're going to slow that down a little bit. Where it's not going to be as many movies or shows,
Which I
but
think is
they're
a good
basically refining what they're putting out.
If I'm not mistaken, they're aiming at 2 movies per year
Mhm.
and 3 shows per year.
Correct.
I think that's really good.
That's the goal.
I think that's a really good pace.
Because if you think about it, how many, like, let's
Well,
say
we'll have to
if
see,
they
but-
were releasing 10 movies and 5 shows per year, let's just say that. Imagine all
Is that what they
those.
did?
No, I'm just giving
Oh,
you an
okay,
example.
okay,
like,
cool.
I'm going to proportionalize it.
Okay.
Where you take, like, let's say each project needed 100 people. So 10 movies, that's 1,000 people. If you're only putting out 2 movies, you get 500 people, 500 people inputted on these projects. They're just focused on it. You get a lot more checks and balances. There's a lot more people working on the special effects. So at least for them, the work isn't
Let's be
Like,
more
they're-
consistent.
consistent and people aren't being overworked because the work is spread out.
Especially when they have other projects such as the
Which,
animation and stuff
which
like
goes
that.
back to our previous episode of what DC is doing about their schedule. I think they realized. I think Marvel tested something. It didn't work. Let's be real. It didn't work. This amount of
They try to push the envelope a
They
little
try to
too
push
far,
it,
but I
and
think
it
that's
didn't
important.
work.
That's important to do that
And-
though.
and now we're gonna go back to that one, to less to more quality over quantity.
You used my line.
Yes, yeah.
But that's the only thing I fear when it comes to the show is that they're gonna put their hands, like Disney's gonna put their hands on it a little bit too much and not know when to take their hands a little bit off of it and allow the original people to like, you know, play with it a little bit more. I understand that they said that he was difficult to work with and all that stuff, but I've heard that thing in business so many times that I honestly don't believe it.
You don't know if it's actually true or
You
not.
don't know, and
Yeah, I mean-
like that's hard to gauge whether or not that's the truth. So
I mean,
that's one of the fears I have for it. But I think moving forward, this show has the potential to be one of the best animated superhero shows of all time.
I can agree with that. It's insane.
I don't think one of the questions that Frank brought up was if this could branch out into different shows and stuff like that. I said I don't think it could. I don't necessarily believe that it'll ink into new shows because my hope is
Not even
that
with the cameos.
with the cameos. I don't want them to.
Spider-Man.
I'd rather keep them in
I'm hoping.
this. I'd rather keep them in this because, and like hint at it in his own show. So like, give perfect example. You said Spider-Man, so he could have like an episode like not too long on it, like saying
on the
like,
X-Men show.
yeah,
Okay.
like he kind of like sees it, or you know where that, or even that scene where him and Mary Jane are standing on that. Him, Mary Jane, and Flash are standing at the TV screen watching the news. You know, see that.
Wait, who? Oh, Flash Thompson.
Flash
Oh my! I was
Thompson,
thinking
yeah.
about the Flash.
That would be
I was
that
like,
would
wait a
be the
second.
twist of the century.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I
So
was like, what did I miss?
there could be that little inkling of it, but I would rather them, whichever Spider-Man they're gonna pick up. I think it was which is the original one. It's the regular Spider-Man show, or is it the Spectacular Spider-Man?
Regular Spider-Man.
Regular Spider-Man. Okay, just pick that up where it left off. You could include it, but I'd rather keep that storyline inside that X-Men show. If you're gonna incorporate those other superheroes, keep it within that and allow Spider-Man to continue his story and move
Oh,
forward with
separately
him.
from it. Separately from.
Move forward with him.
Oh, okay. So
Granted, you could
yeah.
have those cameos, but don't go in too deep with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You want certain characters to have their own thing.
Yeah.
No, it
so-
doesn't have to
that's what
be as interconnected.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're
Because
saying.
I mean, even if you're just looking at like how the animated shows are, they don't even have to do a whole show for like Iron Man or Captain America or Spider-Man.
Like 5 episodes.
Well, like if you do a limited series, sure, or you could just have like different one-off stories. Like let's say if X-Men something happens, such as the case with Bastion and the whole world, and maybe instead of just having a show about it, they would have like a longer, like let's say an hour-long episode, or just like a little limit, like a
Oh,
3-part thing,
I see what you're saying.
where it's about X-Men versus the Avengers.
So you're talking about like, okay, while this was happening somewhere else type
Correct.
of thing. Okay, I see what
Because
you're
like
saying.
as an example, for like Transformers and their show, like the original show in the 80s, like you have the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then the movie came out having Unicron, but then they consider that like let's say season 4. Then when season 5 came out, it didn't continue off of season 3. It continued off based off the movie, or instead of having Megatron and like Optimus like leading both sides, you have Rodimus Prime leading the Autobots and Galvatron leading the Decepticons. Or it just continued onward. It didn't have to be like a whole like show or whatever. Because since it's animated, you get different. Like I feel like there's a different layer of flexibility for them to put out content.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And in terms of like the storyline this is following, I don't know much about it, but hearing you guys talk about it, I just want to say a quick point. But like, after hearing what you guys are saying, especially with the one-off with the Avengers versus X-Men, I feel like the next season, because I feel like there's gonna be a season 2 of X-Men '97.
No, there is. It's confirmed.
No,
It's
like,
confirmed.
It has to be. Yeah, like the way it ended, there's no way there
Even
is.
possibly a season 3.
Yeah. That
Depending
is
on how
not
they take it,
confirmed.
but
that is not confirmed.
But you said that Apocalypse was the big bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like that he won't show up until like the later half of the season because I feel like he's gonna slowly kind of work behind the scenes, and then like you're gonna have this conflict between like the government, like with the Avengers per se, like with Captain America and Iron Man, and the X-Men, them trying to like really get this balance again. Because remember, they don't really have the balance of like everything when they kind of like like they stopped Magneto and all that stuff, but all the interconnecting problems that everything started, especially with Genosha, like they weren't really resolved. So they're gonna still have to like really like pick up the pieces where it left off. So and then you got the other people in the other timeline, see how they're gonna get back and what they're gonna do. So I feel like the ending of it will be the apocalypse, and they'll be like, oh, like what's going on? Like you guys, like then they might like reach an agreement or whatever, and then all of a sudden just like, oh, but like your friend like went against us, like that being like maybe Gambit or something, and this might like destroy like peace treaties and stuff like that. That's what I think.
I feel like one of the things that this is just me, obviously, like predicting.
Spitballing. That's what I'm doing.
I feel like what's gonna happen is we're gonna get a new X-Men. We're gonna get a new X-Men, new intro, which I'm gonna be so excited for.
I mean, we have to.
With Forge and Bishop being the head front of those new X-Men.
Yeah.
They will be working. I feel like how you say like Apocalypse is gonna be working in the background. They'll be fighting him. They'll be going up against him, but like small bits while he continues to find the other 3 horsemen.
Yeah, and then they won't necessarily know it's him.
And then we'll have like an episode where we'll see the past and then we'll have an episode where we'll see the future. And that's where I think, and then I believe my theory is they're going to bring Apocalypse from the past to fight Apocalypse in the present.
Yo, that would be, yeah. Uh-huh. I can see that. That's actually fire.
That's my theory.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. I didn't think
you're
about
just
that.
re-explaining like Forge, like seeing Bishop. The one person that I'm confused about, like aside from like Roberta or like Sunspot and Jubilee doing their own thing, where the heck's Cable?
He was with them in the ship.
He was on the ground.
He was on the ground with Mr. Sinister. When Mr. Sinister got finessed.
Remember, it said he was just AWOL.
It said on the wall he was AWOL.
Oh, okay.
Well, like, he was just like
I didn't remember him being on the wall.
Yeah. Nah, he was like presumed dead or nothing. Nah, he was.
I'm
AWOL.
assuming everybody that doesn't have an AWOL or missing is probably going to be a part of this new X-Men.
Well, maybe.
I mean, that's basically what it seemed like. But with all this, with this show X-Men '97, I mean, it kind of got kicked off with What If, but Marvel Animation has been kind of relatively new. Like recently, like they revamped it. I mean, obviously they had stuff before, but they weren't really under this umbrella of Marvel Animation.
Wasn't the only thing they did, like from the beginning, was just What If?
I think so.
In terms of connected to this, yeah.
It's like the more the newer revamped.
Well, yeah, but
version.
like in terms of like anything Marvel has done recently, like Marvel, like MCU Marvel, and those people, their first animated project was What If.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
okay.
Like Marvel Animation, like this new revamped Marvel Animation, putting this all under one umbrella, is like it started with What If, right? Now we got X-Men '97, right? And then before, I don't know about you guys, but I always looked at DC as like the kind of like superhero animated shows, like they were goated. Like these were the people. So with Marvel Animation making these strides right now, do you think that they can compete or even surpass DC the way it's going right now?
So if I'm gonna look at just X-Men '97,
just the new stuff,
I'm gonna look at X-Men '97
right
and
now.
What If. I think it can compete with those DC shows. DC is still far and above the best in terms of those animated superheroes. Still far and above far and above Marvel, but we're seeing Marvel trying to pick up the ball, and let's see how far they go with it.
They're doing a good job.
This is a great start.
with their
let's
own
see
pace.
let's see how long you can continue to keep the ball rolling. But could it catch up to DC? I believe so, because DC has had, if I'm not mistaken, like a bad string so far in terms of their
On and off.
animated. In
On
terms of
and
their
off.
animated, because recently we had Infinite Crisis.
Oh, that was so terrible, bro.
That was not good. That the animation.
I was 2.5 hours in, and nothing happened.
So
Nothing happened.
So, and then like Harley Quinn, yes, it's funny. The HBO Max series is funny, but it's really not. It's outside of that, it's not that good.
Cause I feel like you see like these DC. I feel like is in a place where like they're just trying a bunch of stuff. Whereas like you got Marvel, they're just like kind of going at their own pace and just like, okay, let's take this slow. What is Marvel? What worked in the past? What would be good for now? And then they kind of just ran with it right now, and like it's doing a good job. Storylines that they can't do in like real life.
I think
Action.
for Marvel being able to compete, like at least Marvel Animation competing with DC,
Animation?
I think it's possible because at least Disney has done something similar to that with a project with an IP under their control, and that being Star Wars.
True.
Because at least what Marvel
yeah,
Animation, or maybe the MCU in general, or well, particularly Marvel Animation, what they need is some sort of like leader to really kind of hone everything in together. Because what Disney did with Star Wars, or at least Star Wars currently, all their animated shows and stuff, they're being led by Dave Filoni. You know, at first, like, you know, before Disney had Star Wars, like the Clone Wars came out, and Ahsoka was his character. And at first the community didn't like her, but he built her up.
He's like, let me cook.
Yeah. Given time, he cooked. And everyone ate.
Yeah, he did cook. She's like one of the most beloved Star Wars characters now, which is crazy.
Exactly. And then there are other projects that are coming out, and his hand is always there. Tales of the Jedi, or Tales of the Empire,
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch, all those projects are his kids.
Yeah.
And he ran with them.
Cause like you. No, go ahead.
So you're saying in a sense that they need to have a Kevin Feige,
A Dave Filoni for Marvel Animation.
because Kevin Feige looks over he looks over the animation stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not that. He's more over the live action stuff than he is the animation.
He-
So you're saying they need another Kevin Feige to go over these
animation
animated-
side.
Correct.
But I feel like, I mean, we're talking about Disney here. These are the animation emperors, my guy. Like, these people are like they started the way, like they were one of the first to do like animation. Period.
Correct. But their track record has been more about money,
True.
opposed to just the quality. Like, instead of like putting out a product,
Yeah,
like, because they've been putting out products,
Yeah.
it should be looked at as a work of art.
I know. Yeah, but that's more recently though. But Disney in the beginning was more like about like the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the point I'm trying to make is that this is Disney. They have no shortage of animation resources, is what I'm trying to say. So it's like
True.
with Marvel Animation being backed by that. I mean, you saw X-Men '97. It was beautifully animated, right?
And Disney gets to make the extra money because of all like the toys they could come up with.
That's
They
true.
get that. Just let the people cook.
Let's see how they handle season 2, and let's see how they handle the Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies.
That's what you're waiting for.
No, because honestly, they could mess it up.
No, I mean, especially for you. You're over here, a diehard Marvel Zombie fan over here.
But
It's
it's
right there.
The book's right behind me.
But when you look at it, it's because Marvel Zombies obviously doesn't have as big of a fan base as X-Men. There's
No,
no
obviously not.
comparison.
Yeah, obviously not.
But you could make something that, you know, can contend with something like X-Men, if depending on how you handle this show, because they're doing good with X-Men. Let's see how season 2 goes. But what about the other Marvel animation that you're supposedly going to be putting out in the coming years? You know, that's why I'm still going to say DC is above them, because our sample size is too small to say that they are they're on par with them or even close to them.
That's
because
true.
DC animation has been around since like we were kids.
I mean,
And,
Marvel too, but it's just been more consistent, is what you're trying
like
to say.
yeah, DC's put out way more quality content, and
In terms of animation.
in
Yeah.
terms of animation, not in live action.
Shots.
But you're gonna, because one of the things I'm excited for is the Isekai, the Suicide Squad.
Oh, I forgot about that, man.
The Suicide Squad Isekai.
Yo,
I'm
that's gonna be
excited
so
for
sick,
that.
bro. Oh, they could mess that up so bad. I can't wait, man.
It's what if that you're bringing it back to like what if that contends with that X-Men 97? So then
See, that goes to my point where like you see like DC's just kind of like throwing all these original ideas and just seeing what sticks, kind of thing. Like you got the comedies, you got the isekai. Like this is going all over the place, right? But like it's
Even
all
some of their like audiobooks, like the Batman one that they had on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. They're just trying all these different ideas. Like they're trying to branch off, and I think that's working for them right now. Like doing all these concepts and ideas that you can't really do live action, where they've been failing. They've been less than optimal. Let me say, and trying it in animation, I think that's what's really holding up the IP really well. But then on the contrary, you got Marvel, which is they're kind of doing the same thing, but like in a more controlled aspect, where like instead of like doing a bunch of all these original crazy ideas, they're more like just touching on storylines that are already known, already beloved by a lot of Marvel fans, and introducing them through animation, because it doesn't really fit into their live action universe.
That makes sense.
And I think that's a really good way to go with it.
the X-Men we'll find out because it's going to be very interesting, because one of the theories I have is that X-Men 97 is going to finish with them heading into live action. That's just me. I feel like that's one of the routes that they're going to go. I feel like some characters aren't going to make it. Like I don't
shouldn't.
Like there's a couple of characters that a couple of the X-Men that I feel like are going to die.
They should.
And stay dead.
And stay dead for
Yeah, that's not
quite
gonna
some
happen.
time.
If they even
No.
bring Scarlet Witch into this might as well be raps.
Just make them zombies. I'm okay with that.
But
Hey,
that's
Never
an
know.
idea. But
man, it's like stop playing with me. That'll be awesome.
but they, it's gonna be interesting to see where Marvel takes this. But like I said, it's too early. This is too small of a sample size for us to put them on par with DC's consistent animation quality. So I'm gonna say that they have the ball and they're running with it.
Yeah.
Let's see how far they get.
I mean, it's better than DC trying to compete with their live action. I'll tell you that. Better start.
Well, I mean, Marvel's just levels above them.
Yeah, in terms of that, but yeah.
But we talked about this. We'll see what James Gunn is gonna cook.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say what James Gunn's gonna
Shoot. I'm mad. I knew exactly what he was gonna say.
So yeah, we're all just excited on like where this can take them. You know, it's a really good start. You know, but obviously, just like Manny, we're all looking at it with a grain of salt. We'll see how it goes, right?
I don't care. X-Men 97 is a good foundation. You got potential. I don't care what DC does. Just give me more shows to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me my
As fans, you know?
Give me my Spider-Man and Friends show.
Stop,
please.
hey, I love that show. But
Or just give me Spider-Man beating the crap out of Cyclops or something.
damn, you're so violent.
Bro, like, I need something. Because Captain America got finessed by Rogue. Like, that was not right.
Were you smiling?
It was just the pettiness of just her throwing the frisbee.
He's like, you know what? You said no? Cousin was like, bro, really?
Like, bro, like, are you serious?
Like,
bro,
I have to go get that.
like, I have to run to go get that or jump. Like, you could fly, fam.
In my
Jump?
headcanon-
Why would he jump? He's just
In-
a
in
regular
my-
human.
Jumped off the roof to
And-
get to her.
In my headcanon,
I'm talking about why would he jump to get the shield?
he didn't get the shield. Because in my headcanon, he's just like, yo, Tony, fetch. 'Cause there has to be a tracker on that shield for him just to get it.
That's true.
Probably
It's
the
just
small,
annoying.
the
She's
small
just being
beep.
annoying.
The small beep, just the beep, beep, beep.
Basically.
But yeah. Anyway, we are Excited to see where this is going.
Super excited. You know me.
Y'all better let us know how you felt about it.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know how you felt about it. What are you excited for? What Marvel animations are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to Marvel Zombies? Are you looking forward to a Spider-Man show, like the continuation of this series? Let us know.
And even
Or
if you're
even
if you're not an X-Men fan and you're not like an animation fan, this is something I strongly recommend you watch because this
I agree.
is without a doubt
Just a good story.
just a great story.
Just a great story. Well, anyways, thank you guys for joining us on the Triple Take podcast. It's been fun. I'm Frank.
I'm Manny.
I am Joseph. It's been real.
It's been too real. It's been
Magnetic.
X real.
Oh. Magnetic.
It's been coagulated.
Okay, we're done here.
Peace.